Kia ora, everyone. My name is Natasha Beletzky. I am the park ranger for Whakanewha Regional Park. First of all, I want to say thanks to Wyatt and the Waiheke collective for organizing this festival webinar. And I think it's a great chance to show how we are working in conservation. So just to talk about a little bit of the park, Whakanewha Regional Park is one of the 27 parks in the Auckland region. Whakanewha belongs to the southern area and is the only park on Waiheke Island that has rangers full time. So 5 days, 8 hours. So I have been asked to tell a bit about how I get involved in conservation. So to do it a little bit simple, I born in a national park. This national park is in the north, it's located in the north of Argentina, and it's a beautiful and huge national park. But to be fair, I will say that I was born in Bariloche. This place, which is a city that is inside the national park. It's actually 3 cities located inside the national park. And just to get a perspective, the size of the national park is 7 times Auckland region. So it's a huge regional park, national park, sorry. So also, I am the daughter of a park ranger. So I was raised moving from since I born to when I turned to 7 years old. I was moving all around different national park on the north of Patagonia. And then once I turned 7, we settled in the city of Bariloche. But my childhood was not a normal childhood because my dad being a ranger, of course, I was in touch with the nature and doing stuff outside and going outside with him. And also I remember my dad always coming back to home with injured or stolen animals for illegal trade. And I used to live with harriers, condors, moorpox, deers, monkeys, skinks, skunks. So it was a very interesting childhood. We used to look after those animals until they were ready to be released. So that took me to become a biologist. Once I finished my high school, I became a biologist, and I also become a biologist teacher because I found I was so lucky to have a childhood connected with the nature, and I thought that's a great chance if I can be in a position as a teacher or working in conservation, I can do the same with other tamarikis, with other children, students. So I was working as a biology teacher for 4 years and also working on fire forest research, and well, it was a great time for me as a conservationist in Argentina. And then we had the chance to come to Waiheke. The idea was to come for 1 year with a working holiday visa to learn English, to get in touch with different cultures, society. And then when we got the chance to get a work permit, I decided to get involved in conservation. So actually I start to work as a volunteer in Whakanewha Regional Park. Then in Forest and Bird, I got involved in Forest and Bird, which I am still member and part of the committee in Forest and Bird. And then I got the chance to work as a team field leader in Treescape in the local reserves, restoring the local reserves. And then I got the chance to work as a park ranger in Whakanewha Regional Park, which I am really happy in that role. So coming back to Whakanewha Regional Park. It's located at south coast of Waiheke, cover 250 hectares, and it's a wonderful sequence of coastal forests, shorelands, large wetlands, salt marsh, sandy and shelly beach, mature forest, cascades, and streams. We have a great diversity of protected taonga flora and fauna. And also it's the park, it's a very nice balance between conservation and recreation. We have campground, we have we can do different activities like mountain bike, kayaking, we have tracks, and it's a beautiful place to enjoy. We have the beautiful beaches and barbecues, and it's a beautiful place to enjoy out there in the nature. So who is involved in the park? I think this is I'm gonna move this a little bit because I really want to show this work. We have an amazing team working in Whakanewha Regional Park. It's really an amazing team. We have volunteers, a nice group and big group is around 10 volunteers that are coming regular basis into Whakanewha, helping us with the planting, weed control, animal control, etc. And I will say that without monitoring birds, I will say that without their help, can be really, really hard and or more difficult. And then also we have our colleagues from mainland, other rangers and who support our job and support and help in our tasks. So who else is involved? Well, the future kaitiakis. So these are the tamarikis that they're going to be the future people that will take our role as a conservationist, and they're gonna carry on with what we are doing. So it's a really important part of our work to really get this the schools and children and tamariki involved in involved in the activities that we are doing in the park, and involve and get in touch with the nature again. I was so lucky to have a childhood grow in a national park. So I think it's a great opportunity to everyone to do the same and really enjoy the nature. So and what we are protecting? Well, we are protecting the nature as a whole. Of course, we have projects to protect dotterels, we have projects to protect cowries, we have projects to protect geckos and shorebirds, but actually what we are protecting in all the parks is the nature as a whole, because protecting the balance that the nature creates in thousands of years of evolution is the key. Right? So we know as having a regional park that we are not allowed to do many of the activities as like, for example, motorbike or fires. We are protecting the nature. So I want to share with you a video that I took a few weeks ago. I was just doing tracking standards control, and I just stand up and I stopped and said, looks like I am in a picture, in a painting. So this is a video, and it's not a painting. It's real. Let me play. I feel that we have rewards because we are working in conservation, and working in conservation, we have rewards every day. Okay, next. Yeah, okay. So because this is a festival, I will be more focusing the pests that we manage in the park. And also then just tell you a little bit more about what we do. So we have one of the projects is the plant pest control. We have divided the park in 22 blocks. And in those blocks, we have contractors working with different methodologies like cut and paste spray and hand removal on different weeds. The main weeds that we work are climate asparagus, moth plant, tobacco. We control also rhamnas, jasmine, kahili ginger, and also other different species, other different weeds. So then related with animal pest control, well, I kind of like this map, this picture, because it's a mess. It's like it shows how Whakanewha looks like with all the traps and bait stations and tracking tunnels that we have. I have a better map that I'm going to show you in a little bit. But this is the Trap and Z map with all the stations and all the traps and cages that we have around the park. So it's a busy place where we do a lot of animal control. We have around 700 base stations to control rat and mice. We have around, we have 83 dogs 200 to control toads, hedgehogs, and rats. We have 100 tracking tunnels, which are these yellow lines here. And we have 14 live capture cages to control cats and toads. So this is the map that I wanted to show you. I am more familiar with this map, so much more familiar with this map. And you can see, well, the green squares are the tracking tunnels. The yellow squares are the traps, dog 200, then the dots are the bait stations. And just to give you an idea, this is the campground is here, and here is the ranger station. So it's a huge grid of different devices to control animal. So, but we are focused in this area. We are focused in the area where the dotterels are. So then I'm gonna give you more details where these little fellers are. So this is a picture. I have a few pictures to show you, just showing you. This is a nest, a bird nest, which was found on close to the dotterels area, and you can see a rat. So the rat probably was poisoned by our bait station and decided to eat maybe chicks, maybe eggs, and decide to die on the nest. So that is what we are facing. You know, rats are really one of our problems. So here we have a cat live capture cage. It's a hedgehog. And here I do not like to show much photos of animals, dead animals, but this is an interesting one because it was one of the first toads that we got this season. That's, I mean, last season in November last year, but actually it was not one, it was two, as you can see. But the interesting thing is that we have checked this trap, which of course was next to the dotterels area, on Friday, and then on Monday we found this, 2 half toads. So my question is, what was the animal that ate the other half toad? So you can see here is 1 half, and here is the other half. So that was the first trap, and then we catch more and more toads later on. And this is a spreadsheet how monitoring results, rodent monitoring results looks like. I can move this again. So ignore ferrets. We don't have ferrets. Well, what we are monitoring mainly are rats and mice, but of course we can have some footprints of kinks, geckos, we get hedgehogs, we get in our cards wettas and insects. So this is the last one that we did in June, and you can see that we have an index of 12% of rats in the park, and what we want to do is drop down that number to 5. That can be great. So we are trying with different methodologies, different combination of baits to see if we can drop down that number. It's a really big job to do the baits, because I said before, we have 700 bait stations, and refill them and recheck them is a big job. So, well, just to go a little bit of other issues that we face in conservation and in the park, people dumping rubbish in the park, lighting fires, vandalizing the entrance and getting inside and breaking stuff. And then cutting native trees. This is a big problem that we got last year. People was just cutting canucas, big canucas, and stealing the wood. And they left a big gap in the area that they were cutting the canucas that we have to do planting. And then we have domestic cats and dogs. So all those are the problems that we are facing. But let's focus in one of our taongas, one of our treasures, which are our shorebirds. We have a foreshore breeding area in foreshore breeding birds area, where the works start in the 90s. The Whakanewha began protecting the dotterels on the beach by putting signs and by putting enclosures. So then that breeding area is shared by the tuturifatu, which is the dotterel, the puaka, which is the pidestil, and the Torreya pangok, which is a variable oyster catcher. So protecting dotterels, we are protecting also the pidestil and the oyster catcher. So which ones are the main threats for foreshore birds are cats, mustelids, hedgehogs, and rats. They are the big problem for these birds because they are nesting on the ground. They have the nest and the chicks on the ground, and they are very vulnerable for these predators. And of course, human, horse, and dogs disturbance also reduce the breeding success. So focusing the tuturifatu, the northern New Zealand dotterel, it's the New Zealand treats classification system. It's classified dotterels, the tuturifatu, as at risk and recovering. Why that is happening is because the productivity of the dotterels, which is the numbers of chicks that fledge, divided by the number of pairs in unmanaged areas, is 0.25, which means if that happens in the areas where we have population of dotterels, means the population will decline 1% per year in that area. So which one is the goal? The goal is to rise that productivity, which again is the numbers of chicks that fledge that year divided by the numbers of pairs, rise that productivity to 0.55. And we had a wonderful year last year in Whakanewha, last breeding season, 2019-2020, and we got a productivity of 1.14. We got 7 pairs and 8 chick flesh, so was a great year. And how we did that? Well, first we have a permanent enclosure, which protect the main dotterel's breeding area from incursion of terrestrial predators or human interference. So as you can see, it's a fence 1 meter high that stop people walking through and stop animals walking through, but of course it's not 100% proof of predators, but stop them. Then we have temporary enclosures. That was enclosures that as soon as we spot a nest with eggs, and of course with dotterels, we set up straight away a temporary enclosure. We put a little fence or ropes and signs, as you can see here. And that was really helping because that stopped the people to go through the area where the nest is placed. It was kind of race against the time, because every time that we spot a pair of dotterels doing funny movements and we spot that they have a nest with eggs, we straight away went there and we set up a trap. We set up a fence, and we've been moving and setting up and putting down temporary enclosures all around the park, all around the foreshore during, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. So, but it was help. It's help. So that is what I was talking about. So as you can see here, you cannot see the eggs. I mean, I can see it because I know where they are. But if somebody is not aware of the displaying that the dotterel is doing when the people is getting close to the nest, it's really easy to step on them, and that's it. The 3 eggs gonna go, and so that is what we've been doing. We've been founding nest, putting enclosure around, and then we've been protecting them. So there are the eggs, and this is the eggs when we spot. So I have a sad story about these 3 eggs. We put the enclosure, we found the nest, we put the enclosure around, and then a few weeks the dotterels were happy there. And then after, I will say, 2 weeks, we got a situation with 2 big dogs just running around. I mean, even not around the nest, just running through, and even not stepping on the nest, but the dotterels got stressed about that situation, and the dotterels abandoned the nest. So what else? Okay, we have like I said before, we have a network of traps, the 200 live captures, cages, bait stations, and but these are placed and around mainly around the dotterels area. So I will say the 40% of the Dog 200 that we have in the park are around the dotterels area. That's 40% of trap. Last year, since November to May, I will say, in those traps, we caught 20 stoats. Definitely, those 20 stoats could easily kill the whole population of dotterels in Whakanewha Regional Park, easily. So that was a very important move to get those stoats and to achieve to get them, and well, to have those traps set around the park, around the dotterels area. Then we have the 70% of the live capture cage, also around the dotterels area. And we got 3 feral cats and a few domestic cats. All this shows that stoats and cats are really attracted by, even if it's domestic cat, really attracted by the dotterels as a source of food, or as a source of maybe for the cats, it's just to hunt them, and the stoats as well. And then something else that we did, we double up bait blocks on bait station around the dotterel area. So all that stuff were really helping to have a very success year. But, and of course, the big amount of time, you can imagine the big amount of time that this take, and dedication of volunteers and rangers to observe and monitor the dotterels, educate people, place signs and brochures. So we have a few pictures here with our volunteers observing dotterels, and I want to show you one of the spreadsheets. For example, this is one of the spreadsheets that one of our volunteers did, which all these are observations. All these are observations day by day, and a lot of details about what he found, and he was observing dotterels, oystercatcher, and stilt. And it's good information to learn how our population is going and if they are being, which ones are the threats, and how to help to improve them breeding of these beautiful animals. And then, well, that's all. We have a lot of stories to share, a lot more information, but I think this is a good view of what we do in conservation in Whakanewha Regional Park. It is a big task and couldn't be possible without the engagement of volunteers, Waiheke community, and other conservation projects on the island. So this is a big thanks for them, and I hope we're gonna carry on working together. So thank you for this, and I hope I will see you in Whakanewha.